Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this December 17th, 2022. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated and Ag Risk Advisors. Well, a week ago, we talked about a major western storm, problems for livestock interest, and just nasty winter weather. Unfortunately, that all came to fruition. And as we take a look at this next week, I'm going to be talking about a lot of the same things. It's going to be a little less about snow in the west, but more about severe cold. It's already gotten cold, very cold, especially with the wind and the wind chills we've had to endure. But now we're going to see extremely cold conditions from the Rockies and points east of the Rockies over the next 7 to 10 days, as there will be two releases of Arctic air out of northwest Canada of the North Slope of Alaska right into the heart of the Rockies and the Plains states. This is going to cause, again, another period of very stressful weather for you stock growers out there, as we're going to have dangerous weather conditions again. The Rockies, the High Plains, Northern Plains, a lot of the Midwestern Corn Belt. We're not going to see the amounts of snow that we did with this last storm. Some of the snow accumulations across the Dakotas, parts of Wyoming and southeastern Montana, Nebraska, wow, they were off the charts in some areas with some very, very heavy snow, especially in the Black Hills region and especially across some of the more upslope areas that tend to get big snows out of these systems. What we're going to see, the biggest concern, will be severe cold and bitterly cold wind chills. This is a prolonged cold snap. It's ongoing now, but it's going to get more worse before it gets better. We could see some easing of the severe cold by Christmas weekend or shortly thereafter, but even then it's not going to be very warm. But the next 7 to 10 days will be critical. Now, over the last week, you can see where the storm went. You can see the heavy precipitation in this area right here, where snowfall amounts were very, very impressive. Big rains and big snows along the west coast, good for the water situation there. And then you can see across the interior west, Idaho, down into Arizona, Nevada, Utah, all getting into the act as well. And if you look at where the snow has fallen over the last couple of weeks, well, that snowpack starting to build up, not only in the mountains, but across the northern plains there, a lot of snow on the ground. And this is critical. The more snow you put on the ground during the shortest days and the longest nights, where we are now, that just makes it easier for these Arctic air masses to come. It's like greasing the wheels, so to speak, allowing that Arctic air to just plow south into the region. And you can see the extent of the snow cover now. The snow cover is getting pretty extensive across North America. Look at just about all of Canada. Not, but almost all of Canada has widespread snow cover across the northern plains back into the interior west. And we're going to see this expand because we continue to have this blocking high up in the Gulf of Alaska, forcing cold air south into the U.S., a blocking high up here in Greenland. Again, storms got nowhere to go except south into the lower 48. So this is for the upcoming weekend. Very cold air is going to be up here back into parts of north central Canada, and the access of cold air will be heading southeast. This storm system right here is the same storm that we had last weekend move through California, then across the northern Rockies and northern plains. That's going to cause a lot of snow in the Great Lakes and parts of New England, with rain and snow on the back side of it. These are the temperatures for Saturday. Look at the cold overspreading the nation. It goes from Alaska all the way to Mexico. The north-south and east-west extent of this cold is very, very impressive. But this is nothing compared to what's coming. As we look into next week, this is Monday. We continue to have a pattern of cold air coming in from the south. We have a disturbance right here, an area of low pressure that's going to help drag this cold air south into the U.S. by mid to late in the week. So these are the temperatures by Tuesday afternoon. Anywhere you see purple, temperatures are more than 30 degrees Fahrenheit below the seasonal average, the 30-year average of temperatures. So when you see the green and the darker blue and the purple areas, that's where it's just downright cold. When you are at your coldest times of the year and you see temperatures anomaly this far below average, that is severe cold. So by Tuesday, cold covers the most of the United States. And look at the northern Rockies, northern plains here. These areas we're really concerned about, bitter cold wind chills. And then by next Wednesday night and Thursday, snow and Arctic air again plunges south into the north central plains, parts of the Rockies, and points east. Only the west coast and the Pacific Northwest is really going to be spared from this, but even up into northern Washington and northern Oregon, they're going to catch some of this. As we look at temperature anomalies by next Thursday, from Texas to Saskatchewan, Arctic air intrudes, and this Arctic air mass is then going to head east. So you can see it's right along the east slopes of the Rockies here and points east. Look at these forecasted low temperatures by Thursday. These are the forecasted low temperatures. So you can see some minus 30s in Montana there, in the teens, 20 degrees below zero across the Dakotas, parts of Wyoming, with sub-zero temperatures getting as far south as Denver. Now, those are the forecasted air temperatures. Look at the forecasted wind chills. This is where it's a real problem. As we get into Thursday morning, we've got 30 to 40 degree below zero wind chills in those pink areas right there, and they could be colder than that. So all of these areas have just had to deal with a major snowstorm and blizzard situation. Now we're looking at severe cold. Now, we said that there wouldn't be as much snow with this Arctic outbreak, and that's true, but there's still going to be some. This area right here, with the cold air sinking out of Canada, will trigger some snows. Probably widespread moderate snows up here, then along into the mountain areas. And if you look at the snowfall between now and next weekend, you can see it is going to be a white Christmas for many across the United States, even showing the potential of snowfall along the Gulf Coast by the end of next week. So it goes without saying, livestock interest, you got to stay on your toes. The next 7 to 10 days will bring severe cold, bitter cold wind chills, and some more snow for many of you. Have a great weekend and happy holidays coming on up.